Welcome back to Adventure NZ podcast number 3. We're here today at Morris Surfboards New Zealand in Silverdale. This is Steve, he runs Morris, and today we're going to talk about surfing, the surf industry, surfboards, anything Steve wants to talk about, anything we can think of. So we'll get it underway. We'll get it underway by Steve starting and telling us who he is, what he does, everything like that.
I'm Steve Morris, Morris Surfboards. I'm the shaper and designer here, and I basically run the whole business from the ground up really. And I've been shaping for quite a long time, since shaped my first board in 1995, and done about 3,000 Morris boards now, plus about 1,000 of the other ones earlier. And this is where we're based now, and he's in Silverdale. Been here for a couple of years now, and it's going pretty well. Do mostly customs. Probably 95% of our work's custom made stuff. And so yeah, we've got a full purpose-built factory here. So do everything in-house: shaping, glassing, sanding, anything like that.
Which I think we'll run it through at the end. We'll do a quick
tour how it works, and then we've just got a little showroom as well, which showcases all of the models which are on the website, so people, when they come into order a board, can sort of pick one of the models up and feel it, and then go custom from there really. There's a little bit of stock stuff, but like I said, majority of our stuff's custom. So just good to have a point of reference of what the actual model looks like and touch and feel it and go from there.
And you do shortboards, longboards, stand-ups?
Yeah, we do everything really.
Yeah.
Everything that you can surf on really, I can make. Yeah. Mostly it's shortboards and longboards. Probably about 60% shortboards and 40% longboards. So yeah, across the board keeps us pretty busy.
And I think you've got arguably the best longboarders riding Morris in the country, don't you? Tom and DK.
Tom, DK riding them. My brother Phil's riding them. So yeah, there's definitely a crew out there of really good longboards and just general surfers riding my boards these days. It's good. Yeah.
Probably the industry, I think, and you're big on supporting the local industry and local shapers, as am I, through skimboarding and things like that. What's your take on the support, or should there be more support for local shapers?
I think the support for local shapes and local businesses is definitely increasing. Over the last few years I've seen a pretty big increase of people coming back to a shaper to get a board made. Because you can get what you want, and you're not locked into what's in the rack in a shop. So if your length and width and thickness and volume and all that sort of thing aren't quite right what you see in a shop, a good shaper in New Zealand should be able to emulate what you want from whatever it is, whatever design. And there's some really, really good shapers in New Zealand that are been doing it for a long time, and I think they're probably on a par with the international shapes. I think everyone a lot of people get sucked into the big marketing thing and the groundswell that is happening with WSL and all that. I mean that's really good to bring surfing out into the public. But, I think people get railroaded by certain brands and things which they get heavily promoted by, and not necessarily, they're the right boards that people should be riding. I mean, they're all great shapes, admittedly. It's the best in the world at riding them, but there's just as good as stuff happening in New Zealand, so it's just...
Yeah, I've always thought the return from having a shaper, such as yourself, like a long-term relationship, is far more beneficial to your surfing and just everything in general, isn't it? Your prices that you're paying,
totally.
Everything, and the way you surf and the way you get around and
where you're surfing. what waves you're surfing. You know, a lot of those models that are being sold in shops that are overseas boards, they're all models that are developed for high performance surfing for high performance waves. You know, we don't have that a lot of the time in New Zealand. Our waves are, you know, slower and things, so you need a little bit more volume on your rail, and just little things like that make a big difference to how your board goes, I think. So you should definitely talk to a shaper. I think in the years gone by, probably the shapers have been looked as like a bit of a godlike figure. Everyone's kind of like, oh, I can't go and talk to my shaper, you know, like, will he actually even talk to me, or will he just grunt, or, you know, like, but we're just people making a living, doing something which we like to do, so talk to your shaper, talk to a shaper, pick up the phone, ring him up, send him an email. If he doesn't reply, then find another one. That will, you know, and I think, you know, it's just making ourselves as shapers more accessible to people, whether it's through stuff like podcasts or YouTube channels or whatever. That's increasing the customers' knowledge of surfboards and what they're doing. I think it's a big thing.
Yeah, and I actually met Steve when it was High Modulus.
Yeah.
Years ago, came in for skimboard material, didn't know Steve shaped at that time, knew nothing, and then found out I actually bought my shortboard I bought that second hand off Gavin.
Yeah. And
found you through Facebook, and then I was like, oh shit, sort of put two and two together, and and then I approached you about the New Zealand Skimboarding Association and said I wanted to get a surfboard shaper involved with that, and Steve's reply was yes, which is all there needed to be. It wasn't difficult, and I've basically tried to, the guys I surf with now, always encourage the support for local shapers and local business in general. So and I mean, Steve's been very easy to deal with, and that wide range, it's what I like about certainly a select few of the New Zealand surf companies, is the wide range of boards. You know, you don't just come to you just for a short board, just for a long board, or whatever. And, I mean, I try to surf everything, so that's what I think has been a huge attraction towards Morris for myself, and you're close to home, obviously. So.
Yeah, I think just generally in New Zealand shapers, we don't do the volumes like they do overseas. So we're not bringing out a new model every week, but we're refining what we've been doing for a long time, and we're pretty adaptable, you know. So we don't have to do 20, 50 boards for a shop of a particular model to, you know, we can change, we can adapt real quick to a new trend or a new type of board design, you know, because we're not locked down by huge costs and huge, you know, you got to run a factory doing 100 boards a week. You got to keep the numbers going. But, we can change stuff pretty quick here. We can tweak rockers, tweak blanks, you know. Like it's all pretty easy for us on that scale, and it benefits the customer, I think. And if you've got whatever New Zealand shaper there is that you know or is in your local area, they're probably really amped to make something different or to go down a different line. I mean, at the moment the trend that I'm starting to see is that because of Mick Fanning and people like, you know, surfers like of that calibre, you know, he's just been riding some twin fins, and now it's like the buzz thing is like, oh, I want to get a twin fin, and then you start looking on Instagram and all that, and it's like all these other bigger shapers around the world have all of a sudden gone, well, DHD made Fanning a twin fin, so I'm going to make a twin fin, and I'm going to make a twin fin, and this is my take on the twin fin, and all of a sudden, within a matter of 3 or 4 weeks, there's twin fin mania. So it's like, well, hey, I've been making twin fins for years, so we can make a twin fin for you. If you want a twin fin, I can make one. It's like, You can put four curved channels if you want, like the old Surfboards and stuff. So, you know, like, don't get bogged down by what you have to buy, what you see in a shop. You can get it locally.
Yeah.
You just gotta hunt. You just gotta pick up the phone or
And
tap
ask.
on a computer and ask. You can get it.
Yeah, Facebook works fairly well for that sort of thing, doesn't it?
Yeah. I think like in the past, people have been a bit hesitant about getting a custom-made board from a shaper because they think, well, am I going to get what I want, and is it going to be exactly what I think it should be, and etc. But with the technology and the social media and just being able to get information off the web nowadays, you know, as people can get custom boards, I've come to me to get custom boards. They say, oh, I want it's like a 6'6" single fin mid length, and they'll send me half a dozen Instagram photos of certain board makers overseas. You know, it's like, well, can you make this? And it's like, well, yeah, I can make that outline. I can, you know, it's going to take a little bit of figuring out, but you know, and you know, and shapers internationally are open to talking to each other now, which they haven't been in the past.
Yeah.
So if I'm stuck with something, there's quite a few guys around the world now that I talk to through my social media interaction with them. And it's like I can ring them up or send them a message and go, hey mate, what's the tail measurement of that board you posted? And they're like, and I was like, oh, I'm in New Zealand. And they're like, I think they kind of look at the map and go, oh,
way down there.
You're not going to take you're not going to take business off me. So it's 14.5 in the tail and such. And so then you can, you know, you can make whatever you want really.
Yeah.
Whatever anyone wants, you can figure it out if you're a good enough shaper. You should be able to emulate anything anyone wants. You know, that's the point of being a shaper.
And I think with custom boards, I mean, I've already got that custom longboard through, and I think with I know what I want, but I think that's where obviously the shaper's skill comes into it. Like, I want a board that works and floats me X amount or whatever, and the rest is up to the shaper. Can't tell you anything else. So I think that's the way it probably should be. I'm not sure if it is a lot of the time, but
I mean, if your shaper's experienced enough, knows what's going on, you should be able to do exactly that. Say, where am I at with my boards? Where am I surfing? What board do I have? Where do I want to get to? And the shaper should be able to go, well, we could do this, we could do that. You know, and it should work. You should be stoked.
Yeah. And I think the price points are a bit cheaper than a lot of the stuff off the you know, the Firewise and things like that, aren't they? So, from what I've seen. Yeah, well, you know, it's all relative. We don't have the marketing budgets of those big companies and things like that, so we've just got to put out a fair price, I think, you know, and to keep things going. But the big thing about people coming and ordering customs or something that I've seen recently is this volume thing. Yep.
And volume's been around for a long time. But with the computer stuff, that's I think that people get generally a little bit too fixated on the volume.
Yeah, the number. Yeah,
it's this number, and it's like, you know, what volume is it? Well, it doesn't really matter, does it? Well, how long is it? It's down to length, width, and thickness, and then the volume is around that.
Yeah.
But I don't think it's as far as ordering a custom board or finding a board off the rack, by putting your measurements into some online volume calculator that tells you that you're an intermediate surfer and you surf 3-4 times a week and you're 65 kilos and you should be riding 25.6 litres. Well, go out and try and find a board in the rack that's 25.6 litres. Yeah. And I bet you it's not going to have the right tail shape you wanted.
Yep.
And it might have future fins because you wanted FCs too. And, you know, so I just don't think you should be... I mean, I think volume is definitely something that you need to keep in mind.
Yeah.
But I don't think you should be fixated on it.
On the number. On the
number, you know. Half a litre here, half a litre there. At the end of the day, you're not probably going to be that tuned into it.
Yep.
If you're a high performance surfer and you're on the you know, you're surfing at that pro level, then yeah, half a litre makes a big difference, but not so much for the average surfer in New Zealand, I don't think. Yeah.
What's the most unique board or fantasy idea someone's approached you with? I know I've had a couple of skimboards, so.
The most unique fantasy idea of the surfboard recently.
You probably turn them away, or maybe.
Oh, I don't really turn anyone away. I'll always have a crack at doing something. I don't know. Probably, I've done a few Ben Iper stingers recently.
Okay.
Bonzes. Yeah, I don't think there's anything that really stands out, but yeah, don't know. Maybe next week there might be something really out of it that comes through.
Yeah, there will now.
Yeah,
Someone
yeah,
watching.
for sure, yeah.
I'll stuff them up.
Yeah. I'm doing a 10-4 at the moment for a guy.
Yep.
Yeah, 10-4 nose rider,
Okay.
25 wide, 4 inches thick, so there's something that's...
But it's big,
It's
isn't
big.
it? It's stand up.
Yeah, it's standard material, but it's a surfboard.
Yeah.
So yeah. Yeah, whatever, really. Whatever goes. Yeah. I've had a few people approach me for 12-foot gliders.
Yep.
Recently. So I've made 12-footers before. And they're for the anti-sup establishment.
Yes.
That want to take on the sups.
Yeah, they want to lie down.
They want to lie down and take off where the sups are taking off, so that's kind of a positive thing,
Yeah.
I think. Yeah, so that should be pretty interesting. Yeah.
Where would be your favourite place to surf? Who thinks it's the best surf in the country?
Best surf in the country?
Yep.
One of my favourite places to surf is Mangamanu in Kokura.
Okay.
I spent a fair bit of time down there. And Taranaki.
Yep.
I like surfing Taranaki.
Yep. You've spent a bit of time there, right?
Yeah, I think they're just good quality waves. And then, yeah, obviously you got the places close to home which are good when it happens. But yeah, Taranaki's pretty much one of my favourite places to surf.
Yep.
For sure. Yeah. The left-hand points or the right-hand points. Yeah.
Favourite model of board? Like, do you have a...
My favourite model.
Yeah, do you get excited about one particular model, or...?
Probably on the longboard side I get I'm pretty happy with shaping the Fusion Pro at the moment.
Yep.
Which is
Is that up there, was it?
that's a Fusion one.
What's the difference between the Fusion Pro and the Fusion? Because I've got the Fusion.
Fusion Pro's got a little bit more tail rocker and a little bit more nose rocker, and it has deeper concaves and lower rails.
Okay.
So it's like a tuned up version of the Fusion.
Yep.
Yeah.
And how's that comparable to, say, the TK Pro?
It's very close to that.
Okay.
Yeah. But it's just wider in the template.
Yep.
And yeah, and not so pulled in the nose and the tail. So it's just a little bit wider and fuller. But it's an evolution of the Fusion, if you like.
Yes. Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. And then lower shortboard side of things, I've been doing quite a few of my high performance shortboards, the M16, which I quite enjoy shaping, and the Foam Friends.
Okay.
Foam Friends is probably my most popular shortboard model.
Yeah.
And
what's the one my mate Mike Cam got? I think it could be a pedal pop.
Paddle pop, yep.
It's that second hand one that you
Yeah.
I think it's a brilliant board, especially in a... My shortboard's pretty bad if it's soft and mushy.
Yeah.
But that thing goes...
Yeah.
And I'm 80, sort of 85-ish.
Yeah.
Mid to high 80s. So...
Yeah, the paddle pop goes pretty well too. Yeah, make quite a few of them. It's a double bump rounded square tail. So it's sort of fishy, but it's not. Yeah. So yeah, there's quite a few different models that I do. But the other one that's been pretty popular recently is my Flying Kiwi.
Yep.
Which is essentially a swallowtail fish, but I've started putting 4 channels in it. and that goes really well. That's what I'm riding most of the time now. And the glow plug, which is like a rounded nose sort of high, shorter board.
Yeah.
So yeah, I've got quite a few models that all seem to be, they're all ticking along around the same rate.
Okay.
Yeah, might just be the surf we've been having recently, or just the, I think a lot of people are kind of starting to get away, coming back to like riding realistic normal dimensions.
Yes. Yeah.
Whereas a couple of years ago, a couple of summers ago, even last summer, there was this short, wide, thick mentality, or this fad going on with short, wide, thick boards that were like, this sort of height on you. It's like people figuring out that you can't actually ride it when it's 3 to 4 feet really pumping.
Yeah.
So they're going back to like getting their boards that they used to get those dimensions,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey,
How's it?
What it all swings and roundabouts, doesn't it? I suppose, and
Yeah.
seasonal patterns, and
Yeah.
I know it does with skimboards. It's
Yeah.
people probably think they can ride something, and then the conditions change a little, and then needs change, and
Their fitness changes, or
yeah.
just their amount of time they get out there and the water changes, or something like that. So yeah, your surfing's always evolving as well. So you don't want to get fixated on holding onto a same board for 10 years or something. You're not going to be the same person that you were 10 years ago. So you want to try and update your equipment as much as you feel you need to, I think.
Or the budget allows.
Yeah. That's another consideration for sure. But yeah, if you're not catching waves, then you're not surfing. So you want to, if you're not catching waves, then you probably want to have a look at your board.
Yeah.
Go, why aren't I catching waves on this board? Is it too short? Is it this, that? And then, because as soon as you're catching waves, then you're surfing, and that's the whole point of it.
Future predictions for surfing and probably the industry in general. I'm going to say local surfboard shaping.
I think local surfboard shaping will just continue to strengthen over the next few years, I think. But yeah, it's just whether it just depends on where the technology goes. There's a lot of epoxy boards on the market these days, and a lot of development going into that by the big brands on these epoxy carbon and all that sort of stuff, and it's just whether or not that stands the test of time really, and whether that's what people want and are going to keep wanting.
Yeah,
we can make all that stuff as well. We've made every type of construction over the years, and there's not really anything that's completely new. It's just a different way of people building it.
Yeah, and what's in it could be a 5-year cycle for something, couldn't it? And then you come back to something, and
yeah. But I mean, I've been doing a lot of mostly PU, just the normal standard surfboard construction. It's just lots of people will come to me from riding everything else, and they're like, I just want a standard board.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, cool, but we know that works. We know how to build it.
Yeah.
It's going to do this and it's going to do that. So, I mean, that's really much where my focus is on at the moment. It's just continue on that track and tick away at a few things in the background, but just keep building good boards really that work. I think.
Yeah. What's the long-term goal? One, or is it just keep on going? Really.
Keep on going. Yeah. Just keep on making good boards.
Do you want to grow? Do you see yourself growing much, or?
We're always growing. Yeah. But just got to keep the growth in check.
Yeah.
You don't want to grow too big too quick.
Yeah.
There's always a ceiling.
Expensive too. So.
Yeah. There's always a ceiling to what you can do in New Zealand as well. So we just keep on trucking on.
Any ideas for marketing and sort of exposure, that side of things?
I don't know. There's a lot of things you can market through. It's just that with surfboards, you just we don't have the massive budget to splash out on heaps of advertising. We just got to make sure that where we advertise is getting us a good return.
Effective. Yeah.
Yeah, and the more that we can do by word of mouth, and that seems to be over the years of what I've tracked advertising and marketing and that, and it's like it all comes back to my mate got a board off these guys and it went really well, so can you make me one? And it's like, well, so you didn't see the full page ad in the magazine that cost us heaps of money.
Yeah.
Like,
skip past that.
Yeah. So I don't know, like
Yeah, I've found, I mean, with what I'm doing, conventional advertising to me is dead.
Yeah.
I don't bother, and I think it's consistency and things like this, like similar platforms, and basically just being kind of sprinkled everywhere and going from there seems to be the most effective.
Yeah. Yeah, we're just on Instagram and Facebook. And, that's where the people that surf and ride our boards are.
Yeah.
So just to throw a big for money out there and
How's that you doing?
lose it.
Phil.
Sam.
Sweet.
Any last words then? Or should we do a shop tour? Do a quick
We're
shop
shop
tour?
tour, yeah.
Oh, did I just go fully into the middle?
Yeah, that's fine.
Sorry. I didn't know you guys were recording.
Well, we didn't have a red light on or anything, so.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll shop tour then.
Yep.
Yep, I will drop all Steve's details, website, Facebook, Instagram.
That's all I have. I
That's
don't have
all.
Twitter or anything like
Yeah,
that.
Twitter's a waste
I
of
don't
time.
have time for that.
I'll drop all that down below in the description of the video, and I would have scattered various videos and clips and stuff of mine throughout this podcast for the video one.
Yeah.
Probably if I could get anything. Do you have much video on file? You probably don't.
Not at the moment.
No, it's, we'll keep shooting. A lot of the stuff I've shot, basically everything I've shot lately we've been on Morris product. This drone stuff that hasn't been featured on this channel yet, I'm just trying to think. That was all Morris, that was Matt from the Batch Matakana on a TK Pro, which is probably see one shortly. So yeah, everything will be, all the information's always down below. We'll wrap the actual podcast up now and do a quick little shop tour. Yep.
Are you going now?
Yep, we'll go now.
Alright. Yeah, so this is the repair part of the factory. Dinking and I share the factory.
Yep.
So you can get anything you want repaired here from any surf craft really.
Yep.
Yeah.
You got a lot of surf club paddles. Well, they're all up top, aren't they?
Paddle boards, and there's always big selection of different types of boards here.
Yep.
Yeah.
Even can get skim boards repaired apparently.
Even get skim boards
Yep.
done. Yep.
If you're American made product.
Yeah. Yep. That's that. This is just the little alleyway of boards and sort of ones that need to be shaped and sanded. And this is actually one that's nearly finished. This is
The flying kiwi.
the flying kiwi with the quad channel at the tail. So yeah.
You're all hand shaped, aren't you? You're not machine.
No, majority of the boards are machine.
Okay. Not here though.
No, not here. We just contract the machining. But most of the models are off the machine, but off original hand shaped plugs.
Yep.
So yeah.
What's this little thing? It's like a mini
This little
Simmons
thing
type.
is, a board that I shaped for my son.
Yep.
Yeah, so it's sort of a boogie board.
Yep.
So you could like lie behind, he can stand up in front of you, sort of thing.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah. Yep. So yeah, it could be a mini Simmons. I suppose you could turn it into it.
Have you you could surf it? No worries, couldn't you?
I don't know if I could. 4'10".
I could. I mean, I can surf a skimboard, so.
Yeah, you probably could.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just know that I probably couldn't.
Not well,
Anyway,
but
yeah.
good.
Well, I could take off really deep. This is my shaping room. This is a massive big 10-4.
Oh, okay.
This is the start of the 10-4 anyway.
Yep.
So yeah, we need to shape that up. And then got some other sort of that's a full hand shape. I do a lot of logs. A lot of my logs are full hand shapes. So you glue the cedar stringers in and do that all here, and then hand shape that fully. So
Yep.
that's a full hand shape. This one here is one of the. This one here is an M16.
Okay.
So that's what I was talking about earlier.
Yep.
So it's just one's just in here for reference. And I've been doing playing around with the tail templates and stuff recently on a few ones. So I always have one or two of my boards in the shaping room just to sort of reference off and
Yes. Yep.
you know, and just tune things up.
Yep.
Yeah. And things like that. So these lights, people might know. The lights can change. So you top light, whoops, side light.
And that's just to help you with your shaping and.
Yeah, so you
Yep.
can you can see the different curves and
Yep.
and everything, concaves and things like that. So that's how that works.
Here's an old price list from 1996.
Yeah. Yeah, that's pretty nuts, isn't it?
Yeah. In case you used to want your boards for $500.
You have to
20 years ago.
You have to talk to the Back to the Future guys. See if you can arrange. These are tail block.
Okay.
Make tail blocks for longboards.
Yep. And you make fins, everything.
Oh yeah, make fins.
Yep.
There's a fit work in progress fin set.
Yep.
So they're custom set up. What else have we got running around? It's all a bit quiet here because it's Saturday. Sanding room,
Yep.
same deal. Can do the fan, can do the lights, etc. What else? Upstairs.
Quick whip upstairs and
So you've got more surf club stuff that Dinking Thomas looks after for all the clubs around Auckland. And this is the glass in the room.
very clean.
So it's very clean because I only changed the floor and all the drip trays the other day. So next week it will be looking a little less clean. So yeah, sort of epoxy TK Pro, which is going to have, TK Fusion Pro, that's right.
Okay.
Yeah, so this has just had the first layer put on it and then sanded back because it's going to have wood veneer put on it.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so this is a little side project I've had for doing a little 5/7 fish with a square swallow.
Yep.
Yeah, that's veneer and that, so that one's going to be another
Okay.
veneer board. We've got a couple of boards that we've glassed last week and a few more to shape, etc.
Okay.
Tints, lots of resin tints go down in here.
Yeah, it's pretty easy to find poly tints, ain't it? But I mean, I struggle with epoxy. Like I do all epoxy, and
it's hard to find epoxy
I just use oxide powders, eh?
Yeah.
You go to Oxide Distribution Company in Glenfield.
Oh yeah.
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 You just get the powders. Super cheap. Really, really cheap. Like, yeah.
Yeah.
Like, why do they even bother charging this cheap?
Right. Okay.
You know, yeah.
Yeah.
If you ever need anything like that, so.
So yeah. Oh, we could do all of this fancy stuff. Vector net,
Yep.
carbon. What else? A few vacuum bag materials and just our glass pole lane. We can do anything that all the big boys do.
Yep. That's the beauty of it, isn't it?
Yep.
Okay, well that probably wraps it up. That wraps up the shop tour. We'll drop, as I mentioned, all the details down below. I guess we'll be hearing more from Steve. We'll keep riding his boards, won't we?
Yep.
That's it.
Yeah.
I'm Sam Price. He's Steve Morris.
Cheers.
We'll see you at the beach.
Okay.